1. What shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us?
SPEAKROC, that's the team that I'm with. SPEAKROC, don't it make a lot of sense? SPEAKROC, yeah, we speak to each other. Hey, young man, be a brother to another, Put the other things aside, throw away the fakeness. All my brothers got the key to achieve greatness. Let nobody bring you down when you tryna reach the top. Let them know what you represent, tell them SPEAKROC. Let's make a change for the best. Let your voice be heard, let your words be expressed. Brothers and sisters, set a goal to the top. If anybody got your back, let them know it's SPEAKROC.
Hey, yo, Guap, that was dope. Hey, just gotta keep telling them what it is out here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you already know, man.
Hey, we doing this one for the D. What up, though?
What up, though?
What up, though, brothers and sisters? This is your brother, SPEAKROC. Hey, I am so happy to be with you. 5 p.m. Eastern on this Sunday afternoon. Hey, it's been a good day. The weather's been good up here in Michigan. So, things are looking good. It's going to get cold again, but, we'll figure it out. Hey, but real talk, I don't want to hold you too long. I pray to God that everybody had a blessed week and weekend. Hopefully prayerfully, I give everybody some food for thought that you can take into your week. And we can have a blessed week. So let's jump right into it. I want to talk about accountability and responsibility. Accountability and responsibility. I think those are two principles that are trying to escape, or in certain pockets of our community and our culture, especially as Black people, as African Americans, they've tried to escape us. And I think that's something we need to capture and bring back into the fold, if you will. Accountability and responsibility. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you ever want to thin out your crew, your team, the people, your circle, the people that's around you, start implementing and utilizing accountability and responsibility. Trust me, when you do that in love, oh my God, you'll find out real quick who wants to be around you, who can deal with being in your circle, being part of a team, being part of a cohesive unit, if they can deal with accountability and responsibility. Now, when I talk about that, it's a two-way thing. Okay. It's reciprocal. Accountability, responsibility. Okay. Probably one of the first things that come to your mind when you think about that is you probably think about, parenting. Okay. When you're dealing with a loved one, like a parent and child relationship, that's kind of easy. That's probably the easiest relationship where you can use accountability and responsibility. Because from the time that a child is born, a parent, especially a mother, automatically knows I'm responsible for this life that just came into the world. And, the fathers, as a whole is saying, hey, look, this is my family. This is my wife. This is my child. I'm responsible. So that's probably one of the easiest ways we look at it. And, there's a maturity process that comes along after responsibility, and that is accountability. A father, a wise father, or a man would sit there and say, I am accountable to you. And not only that, as we grow as a family, I hold you all accountable to what goes on in our household, in our family. I hold you accountable to what you do as an individual, as it reflects upon the family. That's another part of maturity. And you all can remember. Think about when you were young and you were a child. And if you're some of my young listeners, think about, all the things that your mother and father or your guardian or your whoever cares for you, how they, in spite of, regardless of what it is that whatever you've done, be it right or wrong, there's a level of responsibility that's being displayed by your caretaker. And there's a level of accountability that you're being held to as it pertains to your upbringing, far as you doing your part. And the funny thing is, it is done in that type of relationship, the parent, the child relationship. It's done in, you don't even know it's being done because those words aren't being used on the daily. Hey, I'm holding you responsible. I'm holding you accountable. Or because a lot of times when we hear those words, we hear them from a standpoint of something that's perceived to be negative. But I'm here to tell you, and I'm here to let you know, no, it's not negative. It isn't. Like most of our young people, if you start talking to them in that kind of manner, for some reason in this day and age, those are like bad. Those might as well be curse words. We're talking about responsibility and accountability. Now, I have a military background, and those things, accountability and responsibility, was held high. From my early stages and early beginnings in the military, that was just, it was second nature. It was everything from just being a private. You was told like, hey, you are being held responsible for whatever task that you're being given. And, and that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with, and I understand the military is another animal. That's something totally different in nature. But you know what? The principles are still the same. Nevertheless, if you was on a sports team, you probably heard that terminology. Well, at least I hope you did. The coach could say, hey, look, tell one of the senior members on the team or just anybody, say, hey, look, I want you to stretch everybody out. I'm holding you responsible for this. I got something to handle over here. I need you to stretch them out. That was a level of responsibility. Okay. And what the coach expected was for them to get stretched out. So he's holding you accountable for that. So that's in that situation. So we talk about the military, we talk about sports teams, but here's what I'm really getting at. Accountability and responsibility all the way across the board. Now, I know for me, the way I operate in my life as it pertains to my family, as it pertains to my working environment, as it pertains to, my social circles, I operate with a level of accountability and responsibility. If I tell someone that, I'm going to be involved in any activity, I expect to be held responsible to what it is that I said I was going to do. And I expect to be held accountable for what it is I said I was going to do. Now, if I'm the leader of that movement or organization or a social, club, and I'm leading individuals, I hold people that I would designate in certain positions or with certain duties, I hold them responsible. I expect that which we're working on or we're working on together for you to do your part and make it happen. I don't see that as a bad thing. I think that's a beautiful thing. There needs to be checks and balances put in place. And that's one of them, a responsibility. And for whatever happens under that person's watch, when operating in that duty, I expect for them to believe that they're to be held accountable because I've made it clear. Now, once again, this isn't a negative thing. Think about, once again, as a child, as a youth, you're kept in balance. You're kept in line with things as far as accountability and responsibility. In the military, we would say your left and right lateral limits. Or, in layman's terms, your limits. You know how far you can go with something. Knowing there's a level of responsibility and accountability to you. Now, here is where I say responsibility and accountability, that there's a maturity factor in it. I say also, when you operate out of love with these two things, the person that is being held responsible understands that they're being held responsible, and they also understand that I'm accountable for my actions. So no matter what it is, be it a family relationship, be it a personal relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be it if you're part of a social club, be it if you're part of an organization, if you're at work, whatever it is. When you conduct yourself and you go about your daily tasks and duties, you understand that, you know what, I'm accountable to where I represent or what I'm a part of. Not only do I just represent me, I represent what I'm a part of. And that's huge. I think a lot of times when people do things out of line, they don't it hasn't been made clear to them that they're accountable for where they are. It probably hasn't been made clear to them. And because of that, they haven't owned it. They haven't owned the accountability factor of saying, hey, look, I'm part of something. So with that being said, I am going to monitor and I'm going to be on my best behavior. I'm going to, just ensure that I do everything that I possibly can to reflect a positive image of myself and what I'm a part of. Y'all have heard it before with your mother and father. Hopefully, if they told you, hey, look, when you leave this house, you reflect me. If you don't have a haircut, you reflect me. The way you dress, you reflect me. You reflect our name. And that should mean something. And I've come to understand that when it's expressed, and I know the way I operate, when I talk to my children, I express this to them. I say, hey, look, you carry my name. This is our name. So let's be mindful of what it is that we do. Okay, let's take all things in consideration before we just do anything. Because guess what? I'm responsible for you, and I'm holding you accountable to make sure that you when you leave this house, that you're on your best behavior, that you are representing us to the very best. And from what I've seen, it works. It works like a gem. It gives a sense of pride, saying, hey, you know what? I am part of something. I'm part of something great. I'm part of something where it's worth going the extra mile to make sure that I represent myself and my family well. It's a beautiful thing. And once again, I feel that even stressing it beyond the walls of your own household it works everywhere. For some reason, I think a lot of people, we like to take, the path of least resistance. Accountability and responsibility, I'm not trying. I've heard people admit like they don't need that in their life. They don't need checks and balances. They just want to be lawless and just run reckless, just do their thing. I'm doing me. I'm like, okay, it comes with a price, but some of the best disciplined people I know, they operate with those principles. Accountability and responsibility. We have to, if we want things to be better, a lot of times, this thing that's going on right now, it's just a little bit, it's kind of going on social media, it's kind of quiet as kept a little bit. I've been seeing like some post talking about, old heads and, old school, like, old school, one post had something like, I think it was like Cameo or something or whatever it was, the Gap band or something. And, they had on like their sparkly tight outfits, low cut, at the chest, showing all their taco meat. And these are men, by the way. And, they were, showing the video saying like, wow, old heads used to they talk about us and the clothes we wear with skinny jeans and so forth and so forth. Look at these dudes back in the day. And so I'm just kind of getting a sense that there's this, millennial versus Generation Xer kind of thing going on out there. I'm like, I don't see why that's a thing. I hear some of the arguments, real quick. I think millennials feel like Generation Xers really didn't leave anything, didn't leave any building blocks for the culture to be better. Okay, I kind of understand. I made a reply post to someone one day, and I said, hey, look, every generation can sing that song. Everybody can cry the Moody Blues saying, what the generation prior to us did not do. So, that's, hey, as they say, it is what it is. But I really believe that everybody can cry the blues about something for a generation. But that's neither here nor there. One of the things I feel that if young people are brought into a fold with love and care, they wouldn't mind being held accountable and someone being responsible for them. And once again, I harken back to my years in the military. Even as a very young private, I took it serious that I was responsible for, and in my mind, I looked at it far as life. I was responsible for life. It could have been something simple as we need to drink water because we need to be hydrated for tomorrow's event, physical fitness event. I took it dead serious. Like, yeah, I'm responsible for that. And guess what? I'm responsible for you all. Now, I didn't go around saying that to them, but that's how I felt about it. Like, I'm responsible because you know why? I knew I wasn't being told to do this task for no reason. I knew I was in the fold. I was part of something great. And by the way, I was being held accountable in a positive way. And so if it was just 5 people I had to be responsible for, I took being responsible for 5 people very serious. And it grew as I, earned rank and move up the ladder. It grew. Every person meant something to me. Every activity that we did meant something to me. The responsibility, it didn't matter if you was the highest ranking person to the lowest ranking person. I was proud and excited to be responsible for people. I took it was personal for me. It mattered. And nothing has changed. I'm the same way. I can be the president of the block club or the neighborhood watch. I can be the president of the pancake committee. It doesn't matter. I'm responsible for something. And I hold my own self accountable to make sure that I do a good job. And I believe when you act like that, that's contagious. It's contagious because you replicate yourself into other people and they become like you. They become who you are. They take on that air and they take on that way of thinking, and the words accountability and responsibility aren't strange anymore. I'm here to tell you, I believe if we implement and exercise those principles in our community today, in the African American community, amongst all our people, once again, elders, our equals, our peers, and our juniors and the youth, I believe we will get a lot done. We will move further and we will be even more united. I truly believe that. I truly believe that because some of the issues that plague our community can be solved with responsibility and accountability. I think, no, it's not that I think, I believe, I know that if we hold ourselves accountable, and that's key right there in itself. Self-responsibility and self-accountability. And some would say, well, that's where it all starts. Okay, I get that. People have to be taught, though. Some people might have it naturally because they had an example. They saw what accountability and responsibility looked like. They saw it being exercised in front of them without even really being taught directly. They were taught indirectly because they had a loved one or someone they respect exercise that in front of them. So maybe they didn't need to be taught directly. Some people weren't taught at all because all of us, once again, all of us were, raised differently, or we're being raised differently by different type of people. So we can't expect that everybody got the same type of teaching. So if it is, the key is first starting with self-responsibility and self-accountability. First, let's learn it. And two, let's implement it. And when we implement it, let's implement it in all areas of our lives. All right. So say, for instance, if we're looking for a job, you know what? Believe it or not, there's a lot of resources out there for job search. You got to go to where it is. You got to go to where the job search is. Okay. You can't wait for the job search engines or sites or resources to come to you. Look, I'm all about spiritual principle and believing in miracles and believing in the impossible and gotta make it. I got all of that. I got it. Yet and still. Hey, I don't believe all that happens if you don't apply yourself. The miracles and things of that nature don't happen if you don't apply yourself. Grace and mercy. Oh, okay, I got all that. That's another lesson for another day. But yet and still, we were never meant to be lazy as God's people. So you must apply yourself and put yourself out there and put yourself into positions for good things to happen. That's called being accountable. Okay. Anything. A lot of times I hear people talk about what the youth, I know where I live, or even today, generally all around, no matter what city you live in, I hear people talk about, well, the youth don't have anything to do. The youth, resources are cut and, so forth and so forth. And And I just think to myself, I'm like, every time I turn around, if I'm looking on the web, if I'm looking at TV or whatever the case may be, there's somebody with some positive movement or positive organization going on, speaking about how they're trying to help the youth. Now, all the details of how far they are and they may cost money or whatever the case may be. Look, we can't make excuses for not holding ourselves accountable to getting where the resources are, to getting connected to the people that can help provide those resources for us and help make our lives better. It is not incumbent upon the organization solely to hunt people down to give out the resources and provide opportunities. It is incumbent upon the individual to get where they need to get in position, to get in place. That's accountability. Hold yourself accountable. Because on the flip side, we'll find anything and everything else to do. And I'm telling the truth. If we want to play a sport, we'll figure out a way and we'll get there. If we want to go to the club, we'll figure out a way and we'll get there. No, driver's license or not, we'll figure it out. If we want to go shopping, we'll figure out how to get there. If we want to go over some friend's house or what have you, we'll figure out a way and we'll get there. But for some reason, it's impossible and it's difficult to figure out how to get to a place that's going to help better you and give you the resources and the opportunities for you to grow. I refuse to believe that. That's just a lack of discipline in that area of holding yourself accountable to get where you need to be. And I would say this. Remember I said earlier, it goes both ways. I feel that once you get to that organization that has the resources for you, that individual that is going to work with you, they need to be responsible for you. Now, this might ruffle some feathers, but I mean this. I know a lot of people are very lukewarm when it comes to responsibility of people, be it adults or be it youth. I believe we give up too easy in working with people. I believe we do need to go the extra mile, especially in this day and age that we live in. And I'm not saying it's everybody. I can't say it's everybody. I don't know everybody. But it's enough of us where it's not working. Here's the deal. If you can just let somebody go just like that and just, okay, well, they don't want it. They're not disciplined. You just let them go. Because, hey, I know what I'm talking about. Every time I turn around, somebody talking about cutting somebody off. The only thing that lets me know is that, one, you don't have the capacity to deal with people. You don't have the capacity to foster relationships. That's the first thing that tells me when I hear people telling them they're going to cut somebody off. That's the first thing that tells me. The second thing it tells me is that this person, you're not schooled. You're not developed in being responsible for anyone outside of those that love you. Is it easy dealing with people that have issues? No. No, it's not easy. It's not easy dealing with people that got a little bit of baggage. No, it's not easy. But it's necessary. If we expect people to change and do better, it is necessary that a standard is set of, I'm responsible for you. I'm going to let you know that I'm responsible for you. I'm going to show you not just only in my words, but in actions as well. And with this responsibility is going to come a level of accountability. I'm going to show you how to find a job. I'm going to show you how to take care of your finances. I'm going to show you physical fitness. I'm going to show you the things that you need to develop in life. I'm going to show you. And then I'm going to hold you accountable to execute after I've shown you. This is the love that I'm giving you right now. I just believe that more often than not, it will work. That works more often than not. I can see that being a better strategic way to go about how we make things better in our community versus just, well, I'm cutting everybody off. Once again, I don't want to harp on that too much, but I just find that comical because I see people who have businesses and they're talking about cutting people off, and I'll be like, who are you going to sell to? So if you're not going to sell to your own people, who are you going to sell to? I see people who run an organization, they're talking about they're cutting people off. I'm like, who are you going to help? Who you plan on helping? Yeah, it's your own people getting on your nerves. Who you going to help? Okay. So your people have to suffer because you don't have the capacity to deal with folk. I get it. Hey, I'm not a social worker. I'm not a counselor. Okay. Yeah. But you're a person. You're a human being. And the people you're talking about are human beings too. Let's put this in perspective. I am not telling you to get caught up in any situation. Okay? I'm not telling you to put yourself in harm's way for people. I got it. I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen to me. Oh, trust. I'm not going to just deal with anything myself. I got you. I'm with you. But in the same token is when you know better, you do better. When you know better, you do better. And the better that I know is that we got to be patient with people. And we got to utilize strategy, not just emotion. Operating out of emotion solely just isn't good. Flying off the handle, just going ham just because there's problems that we have in our community and we have to fix them. So I just believe, through accountability and responsibility, we can fix these issues. And I believe with those two words right there, and these are just a few. These are just a few. Trust me, there's a lot of other things that we can do to help the community as well. But I would challenge everyone that's listening to this. If you call yourself a leader in any kind of fashion, once again, you always hear me say, I'll say the church, the pastor, because I try to think of the highest thing that I can and work my way down, because no one's obsolete from this. Nobody. Okay, whatever. President, Congress, military, clergy, teachers, lawyers, doctors, engineer, plumber, housewife, college student, high school student, whatever. Everybody can operate in this and learn from this and do a better job in teaching everybody and teaching yourself how to be accountable to one another and how to be responsible for somebody else. Trust me, it goes a long way when you tell somebody, look, I'm not going to give up on you. I'm not. I had a conversation. Well, it was an online conversation, little chat, little DM. It was a post talking about, you just kind of, it was talking about some Bible characters and you just got to let this certain Bible character go. And I just couldn't let that rest. And I said, social media, I'm still new to it, but I had to come back, in love. Hey, look, I'm not trolling you. Had to make that clear. I'm not, trying to throw shade or what have you, but My Bible clearly tells me that, God said he would never leave you or forsake you. Even if you made your bed in hell, God said he would never leave you. So, if we serve a God that would never leave us, even if we decide to do something stupid and foolish and we don't want to better ourselves, God said he'll never leave us. And if we call ourselves followers of this God, we got to operate in that same light. Didn't say you had to put up with everybody's foolishness and their wrongdoings, but yet and still got to make yourself available to be there, to let them still know, look, I didn't leave you. You left. I'm here for you. But if you're going to be here, this is what's going to have to happen. I'm responsible for you. I expect that you're responsible for yourself, and I hold you accountable to do better, and I expect you to hold yourself accountable. Hey, look, it's been a pleasure. It's been a blessing. Hey, brothers and sisters, I want y'all to have a great week. Thank y'all for checking in. Thank y'all for coming and listening to what I have to say. Hey, always keep in mind, don't take none of this personal. I'm a brother from Detroit. What do I know? Might know a little, might know a lot, might not know nothing. But in either way, this is a place where all opinions are valued. You can come and you can speak. And I thank you all for allowing me to do the same thing, to speak the truth as I know it. So, hey, look, peace and blessings, people. This your brother, SPEAKROC. I'm out.